We just got this in the mail. It's a Rolex Explorer 2 reference 216570. The customer sent it to us and we need to inspect it before we pay for it. So I'm gonna show you guys what we do to make sure this watch is good to go prior to paying him. Before we take it downstairs and open up the case back and inspect the movement, we have a couple things that we can do off the bat. First is we're gonna just match the serial number to the watch. The serial number is underneath the crystal around that outside metal rim, which I can see it with my naked eye. All right, that's a match. Second thing, we're just gonna check out the condition. He said that it's overall a really clean piece. With these watches, you really wanna make sure that the bezel is clean. Everything else can be refinished, but these bezels are very difficult to refinish due to the finishing technique that Rolex uses. Really can't be done by a third-party watchmaker unless they have super expensive machinery to accomplish that refinishing technique. This one does look pretty good. I don't see any issues with the bezel. So far looking good. Next, we're gonna unscrew the crown, wind it up, make sure the watch feels good. I can't explain to you what feels good and what doesn't feel good. It's just something that you have to have handled many Rolexes to know. And then we're gonna pull the crown out one more time, roll it around, make sure the date is working so you can see it's changing. And then also we want it to rewind as we go through. A lot of the fakes can't rewind the date. Okay, so that's good. And then lastly, we just want to make sure that the date is going to flip right at 12. All right, that one flipped at 11:58. Not the biggest deal in the world. Not uncommon for that to happen. This watch is 9 years old at this point, so far no red flags. Let me grab a loop. I have my loop. I'm just gonna first inspect the dial to make sure there's no dust underneath the dial and signs that a watchmaker had been in there and messed with the watch. So we want to make sure the hands are clean and the dial is clean. All right, this looks pretty clean. And then one other thing while we're in here, the original Rolex sapphire crystals will have a crown etched into the sapphire at the 6 p.m. section. So you just want to look for that as well to make sure it's an authentic crystal. Next, we're going to check the link count. On this model, there's going to be 12 links in total. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. One thing to notice here, one of the links is missing a screw. It's kind of annoying. Not the end of the world. We can get another screw for it, but everything up until this point checking out except for one missing screw. We're gonna take the bracelet off. We have this tool right here and it grabs the pins just like that. We're gonna do the other side. All right, we're also gonna check out, make sure that the bracelet is original. So between these end links on the part that is inside the bracelet that isn't visible when the bracelet is on the watch, there's going to be some numbers as well as a Rolex crown. You just want to make sure that they're super crisp, looking like the other original examples that we've had before. There's a couple other ways to authenticate the bracelet. I can kind of tell by the feel of it and the way it comes on and off the bracelet. Usually the fake bracelets will have a hard time coming off the bracelet, but when it comes off super smoothly with no issues, the level of precision is just there that the fake ones don't have. Now we got the head of the watch. Let's take it in the basement, open it up. We got the head of the watch here, and we're just gonna remove the case back. So it's gonna go on this device. I'll talk loud so they can hear us. All right, just apply the pressure and spin it until the case back starts to move. All right, come over here. We don't wanna get fingerprints inside the movement, but this is it. I'll usually stop the movement so that I can look at the hairspring. That's usually the #1 tell on the knockoffs. But besides looking for authenticity, we're also making sure that the movement is clean overall and it hasn't been tampered with. We don't want any of the screws to look like they've been turned much or messed with third-party inexperienced watchmakers. So the watch looks good. It's a genuine. Last thing we're gonna do is just make sure the watch is keeping accurate time. So we have it on our time grapher, and you can come see the readings with me. So it's running 2.5 seconds, 1 to 2 seconds per day fast, 271 amplitude for a watch of this age. That is totally acceptable. We'll just try a couple different positions to make sure that it's running good in all different positions. All right, so that was pretty much the process of inspecting a Rolex as it comes in before paying the customer. Besides the one screw that was missing out of one extra link, I think I'm gonna let the customer slide on that. The watch was all good. So if you have any other questions on how to authenticate Rolexes or other brands or anything of that nature, drop a comment below and I'll do my best to answer for you guys.